Succeeding in drag racing became big money, so muscle cars evolved to become as fast as possible in a straight line. Some truly beastly vehicles resulted from this need for speed. Welcome to American Muscle Wheels, where today we're counting down the 10 fastest muscle cars to complete the quarter mile during the 1960s, starting with number 10. 1968 Shelby GT500 KR quarter mile time, 13.9 seconds. According to Barrett Jackson, the KR stands for King of the Road. The centerpiece of this car was its 428 cubic inch Super Cobra V8 engine, which delivered 335 horsepower and 440 pound-feet of torque. It featured advancements like staggered rear shocks to prevent wheel hop on hard launches and suspension bracing for a more stable platform. These tweaks helped the GT500 KR to run a quarter mile in 13.9 seconds. A thoroughly respectable effort, but only enough to leave it in 10th place in this ranking. 9. 1969 Pontiac GTO Judge quarter mile time, 13.9 seconds. The 1969 GTO Judge was Pontiac's halo muscle car of the time, with the most powerful variant being the revered 400 cubic inch Ram Air Wa4 V8. This engine produced a hefty 370 horsepower and 445 pound-feet of torque. A 3-speed hydromatic transmission allowed the driver to focus on getting the car off the line effectively, and this task was made easier by a safe T-track rear differential. The engine took up so much room under the hood that air conditioning wasn't available, giving its driver the full, sweaty racing experience. 8. 1968 Chevrolet Camaro Z28 RS quarter mile time, 13.8 seconds. The 1968 Chevrolet Camaro Z28 RS, equipped with a 302 cubic inch V8, may have lacked the outright size of some of its contemporaries, but it didn't lack in terms of power. It produced 350 horsepower, and the SCCA-derived engine was also relatively light. The limited slip differential and stiffened suspension made it ideal for launching off a standing start, allowing it to record a strong 13.8-second quarter-mile sprint. This time put it on par with cars that had more power at the time, though its relative lack of firepower leaves it lower on this list. 7. The 1969 Plymouth Cuda 440 quarter mile time, 13.8 seconds. It's difficult to complete a quarter mile run in under 14 seconds with a massive 440 cubic inch V8 under the hood, but the 1969 Plymouth Cuda 440 managed it. This 375 horsepower beast could stop the clock at 13.8 seconds, making it one of the fastest Plymouths ever. The mighty engine was installed by Hurst, with only 358 examples of this machine ever being made. A 4-speed automatic transmission transmitted the power to the road, while a limited slip differential ensured the massive power could be utilized effectively. 6. The 1968 Pontiac GTO Royal Bobcat quarter mile time, 13.8 seconds. While the 1969 Pontiac GTO was already pretty potent, brand tuner Royal Pontiac saw more potential in it. They slotted a larger 428 cubic inch V8 under the hood and modified the front and rear suspension to allow for even more effective launches. Featuring a 4-speed manual transmission, the GTO Royal Bobcat could thunder down a quarter-mile stretch in 13.8 seconds. Royal kept the standard vinyl and wood interior intact, making this a comfortable street racer. 5. The 1969 Oldsmobile Hurst Olds 442 quarter mile time, 13.7 seconds. Feeling that the 1969 Olds 442 was capable of greater things, renowned gearbox designer Hurst decided to upgrade it. Utilizing the brand's largest engine, the gargantuan 455 cubic inch V8, the Hurst Olds 442 put out 390 horsepower and a blazing 500 pound-feet of torque. This was mated to one of Hurst's 4-speed transmissions and a 3.23 rear end that housed a limited slip differential. All these refinements allowed the Hurst Olds 442 to clear the quarter mile in 13.7 seconds, while its iconic white and gold livery made it one of the prettiest muscle cars of the 60s. The 1969 Dodge Charger RT Hemi, a true legend. This beast came with the iconic 426 Hemi V8 engine, boasting 425 horsepower and a jaw-dropping 490 pound-feet of torque. With a beefed-up suspension and a new rear end which included a Dana 60 setup and a limited slip differential, it was transformed into a drag strip monster. And believe it or not, it could cover a quarter mile in just 13.5 seconds, making it one of the quickest muscle cars of the 1960s. 3. 1969 Plymouth GTX Hemi quarter-mile time 13.5 seconds. Next up is the mighty Plymouth GTX, featuring the same legendary 426 Hemi 5.8 as its Charger cousin, which also produced 425 horsepower. The power from the dual 4-barrel carburetor was transmitted to the road via a specialist suspension setup reserved specifically for models with the Hemi. Combined with a much-needed limited slip differential, the GTX Hemi could complete a quarter mile in just 13.5 seconds. The GTX is ranked higher than the Charger due to its slightly higher value in 2024, with the former worth $217,000 and the latter $212,000, according to Haggerty's valuation tool. 2. 1969 Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 quarter-mile time, 13.2 seconds. The 1969 Camaro ZL1 was a special breed, featuring an all-aluminum 427 cubic-inch V8 developed for the Can-Am Racing Series. This engine made 430 horsepower and 450 pound-feet of torque. Due to its aluminum construction, the Camaro ZL1 weighed only about the same as an iron small-block engine. The reduced weight, plus the addition of stickier tires, a limited slip differential, and heavy-duty suspension, meant the Camaro ZL1 was incredibly capable on the drag strip. It cleared the quarter mile in a rapid 13.2 seconds, placing it well ahead of most muscle car challengers of the time. 1. 1969 Plymouth Roadrunner, a 12 quarter-mile time, 13.0 seconds. Taking the prize for the fastest 1960s muscle car to complete the quarter mile is the ultra-valuable 1969 Plymouth Roadrunner A12, fully loaded with a tweaked 440 cubic-inch six-pack engine, which borrowed components like the chrome intake, flat-face hydraulic tappets, and valve springs from the 426 Hemi. It made 390 horsepower. The A12's modifications didn't end there. It also received a 4.10-to-1 rear axle with a limited slip differential, upgraded suspension, and wide 15-inch Goodyear tires for maximum traction. The upgrades clearly worked, as the Roadrunner A12 was able to throw down quarter-mile times of 13.0 seconds flat. This commanding pace leaves it as the fastest muscle car of the 1960s, provided you're willing to rev the life out of the very expensive V8. Thanks for tuning in to American Muscle Wheels. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content on vintage American muscle cars.